Hey, hey, baby, have you seen this filter?
Hey babe, have you seen my dirty underwear anywhere?
Yeah, I guess you could say I'm like my dad. I'm a bit of a fighter. Except I box. He fights the results of my paternity test. Let's get something clear right off the back. I think boxing is a tremendously intricate, physically demanding sport. But it's so boring. Can you tell me in earnest, before the influx of influencer boxing, you actually took the sport seriously and watched events? Because I certainly didn't. It was not very fun. So in a weird way, boxing fans, I'm gonna have to tell you a hard truth. This very decisive guy over here, he may, and I'm sorry, he may have made your sport bearable to watch. What, you say boxing's a respected sport that everybody loves? I'll punch your head in for saying that. Well, you would, but you wouldn't be able to see me. All I would have to do is hold up a pen, and your vision would get obscured from the years of brain damage you suffered. I want to tell you an objective fact. The overwhelming majority of people do not watch fights unless it's a huge card that's been promoted everywhere. First thing that pops in my head is Floyd Money Mayweather and that Mexican guy, or Puerto Rican, or whatever the hell he was. Your average housewife Barbara would not even have given that a second thought if it wasn't for the amount of money that was pumped into the promotion of that fight. And these influencers have taken that and kind of just mastered it. You see, all of these creators that get involved in these stunt boxing matches obviously don't give a crap about the severity of the sport or the skill. It's just kind of something for them to do on a Tuesday. But you know what all of these creators have already? An established audience that knows who they are. And you know what you can do with that audience? You can generate interest in a fight. So if you got a legitimate boxing card full of guys who've trained their entire life from the time that they were 2 years old, or a bunch of 16-year-old TikTok kids, so tell me, as Barbara, as the housewife, who are you more likely going to hear about first? The young boys. These influencer boxing cards have brought the sport back into the mainstream because they don't have to pound money in to get people to watch. Them doing it is enough interest. And because there's so many of them doing it, started by the man that everybody loves to hate, the sport is now as popular as ever amongst the youth. And I can prove it too. The date of the KSI Logan Paul fight, the first one, was 9th of November 2019. When boxing became a powerhouse sport again, guess when that happened? December of 2020. Boxing is the second most popular sport in the world among young people, according to research from GWI. In a series that charts the growth of today's sporting markets, boxing came second, thanks largely to a boost in interest and engagement amongst young adults who are increasingly following the sport in large numbers. And that's thanks to influencers. Unfortunately, boxing is at a natural disadvantage. Unlike, say, the UFC, for example, who's a very technical sport with high atmosphere and high movements and high technicality, boxing is pretty much just a stand-up slugging match, only being able to duck and weave. That if you're not an expert in the actual fighting itself, you don't even know who's winning, especially on scorecards. But what's cool about influencer boxing is it doesn't matter who wins. There's a magnetic personality already attached to the card. Let's say Mr. PewDiePie decided he was going to step into the ring. His fans have known him for years and have developed a very deep parasocial relationship. They think they truly know him. Side note, they don't. Remember, these people are different in real life, and as such are invested in him. Now, they know him through his content, but they don't know what he's like in the ring. And let's say his opponent was Mr. Beast. They were gonna fight for the #1 channel on YouTube. Holy shit, that'd be sick to watch. All of Mr. Beast fans also know him from the content and are also naturally invested in him. But you know what either side doesn't know about either fighter? What they're like in the ring. And guess what makes good entertainment, baby? Surprise! Kinda like when I found my husband in bed with another man, this too puts you in shock. What's gonna happen? Are they both gonna be terrible? Maybe this is gonna be the most mind-blowing thing I've ever seen. Also, it's kinda just fun to see people hit each other. I must buy the event. Whereas you don't get that with regular boxers, because you only know them as boxers. You know that they're good at boxing, and you know that they're gonna have a good boxing match. Look at the most successful fighters of the modern era. Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King. Why is he well known? Because everybody likes him outside of the ring. Conor McGregor. Why is he so well known? Because nobody likes him outside of the ring. He's an actual asshole, but he's an entertaining one. Mike Tyson. He's been in movies and pop culture for the better part of the decade. Everybody knows him. And everybody's interested in these guys because of their personality, not the way they fight. So I pose the question to you again. What is drawing in the crowds? And what will continue to draw in the crowds? People. not ability. One more thing before I wrap up this video, since I feel like I've made my point, you moron. The level of money is gonna go up and keep climbing. Internet personalities are not doing this for the love of the sport. They are doing this to increase their own standing and, let's be real, make a big buck. So unlike traditional boxers who do it out of the love of the sport, these internet guys are not going to get rimmed for the sake of getting rimmed. As we all know historically, and even still to this day, UFC, fighters who love fighting just get their ass eaten. Whereas guys who are show ponies just want to be show ponies. They're not going to be willing to take a bad deal at the start in the hopes of getting a better chance later on. No, this is a one-time thing for them. So you better pay one-time big figures to get me into that ring. And as these stakes climb for the show ponies, guess who's following behind? Hello, it's me, the traditional boxer. Promoters are going to be forced to pay their traditional fighters more money at the start and more as time goes on, with bonuses, licensing, and even pay-per-view event cuts. Or maybe some of these show promoters might say, oh, we're kind of done with traditional fighters. Let's just start an influencer boxing league. Pay them off once and they can double the crowds that these other guys can do. I guess there's two ways of looking at it. But there's only one way of looking at the big picture. Boxing fans, you have iDubbbz, you have KSI, and you have Logan Paul. You need to suckle on each three of these guys' nuts for saving your sports. But you can start by suckling on my nuts, because legally you have to subscribe. And I will see you next time I can be asked to sit in front of this computer and talk for a little bit, because that's what I'm doing. How long have you been on that phone? How long have you been taking that shit? Is that turd staring up at you? Eat it. Or I'm going to. Alexa, show me your balls. Bitch.